Awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. Those of you who may or may not know me, I'm Jordan Warsoff. I'm a solutions engineer here at Unitrends. Hopefully I've talked to some of you to your disappointment, but you're here with me, and that's part of the fun. So what I wanted to do today as part of our Power Half Hour is I wanted to go over everything that's come up in 10.3. So we've done a lot of stuff and updates with Unitrends over the past 6 months. 10.3 initially dropped November 2018. But we've had a lot of dot updates that have included features as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a lot of the features. There's a lot of bug fixes and performance updates I'm not going to really hit on, but I want to go through the new features over 10.3. So this covers basically the last 6 to 8 months of stuff they may or may not realize that you have access to. So I want to go ahead and get started once I find my mouse. There it is. Perfect. So these are the major 10.3 updates. These are ones that were released end of 2018. Windows image level protection. That was a really big one. The block level backup, sometimes you've heard it called. We also had long-term data management. We had a new way of adjusting the retention that's contained within the appliance and even changed the default that appliances ship with. We did, I know this seems old now, but we did vSphere 6.6, Zen Server 7.3, a big improvement to inline deduplication that our newer Gen 8 appliances are taking advantage of, and then obviously a lot of defects both right away at 10.3 and then throughout each of the dot updates. Let's talk about probably the biggest thing is the Windows image level protection. What we released is sometimes referred to as WProtect, but most of the time you're going to see it's Windows image level protection. So traditionally, Unitrends has had file level protection with the agents, snapshot level protection with the agent list, and then application level backups within the agent. Unitrends now added a third option, the application level, the image level backup. What this basically does, it means that you set up a backup that's going to take a whole backup of the entire disk image. So it's an image that you end up with that you can recover that whole image as a part of a bare metal recovery, or you can mount it and recover files. It is done at the volume level, so it's a disk or volume backup, and it is not dependent on static connections. It takes the change block information from the asset itself and can be used over WAN-based backups. We haven't certified the exact amount, but I've seen customers using this for about 1 terabyte being the upper limit so far. So it uses client-side deduplication, which means you get even more efficient backup speeds for those WAN. So if you have any of those off-site offices, you could put this on a few of those servers and let them run. Just know that it will take a load on those servers themselves. But it's the same features as VM backups. You can restore to a physical server, or you can recover those VMs to a virtual environment, recover them to VMware HyperV. It's 2008 R2 and above, 64-bit exclusive. And one of the big reasons you might use this is the backup performance is independent of the file count. So if you have a file server with a bunch of tiny files, this will go in and it doesn't have to troll the directory. It can do this all from the block level, so it's independent of the file count. So it might actually speed up backups in certain scenarios. It also uses VSS copy, so you're going to get that same proper quiescing and volume shadow services that you'd expect out of any other file level backup. Great tool. We've seen a lot of success with this. That WAN-based backup is huge. And if you've been reading our emails, we have a beta of the Unitrends direct-to-cloud backup, where you're going to be able to take backups of initially desktops and laptops, send that data directly to our cloud and recover them out of a cloud portal. That'll be coming soon. That's entirely based on this technology. So you can use this yourself, or you can even use the direct-to-cloud coming soon out of beta. And I'm sure we'll have another Power Half Hour about that when it releases. Next, long-term data management. This is a feature that people have been asking for a while. Basically, what we used to do is if you wanted to keep data beyond the first in, first out, you'd either have to manually legal hold and rotate, or you'd have to do cold copy backups. Both are viable options, and we still recommend customers do those. However, we added a long-term data retention because what you can do is now you can set up GFS for the backup storage on your appliance. So you can choose either the min-max retention model or this one, and this is going to be the default. We set up how many days of backups you want to keep, all of backups, and you can add in weeklies, monthlies, and yearlies to backup as well. It will keep the most recent successful backup on each of those, and it'll kind of either build out the chain or build a synthetic differential or full on that point so you can use that to recover. The only thing you have to be aware of is that the policy backups are prevented from purging. That means you must have space to accommodate the backup. So if you have a yearly and your appliance is out of space and you try to run the new backup, it will fail, which means the new backup will fail. This is a departure from our first in, first out methodology where it would purge out the oldest stuff. So you need to be careful, and if you're pulling retention, you need to be monitoring your storage and either adjust your retention accordingly. And then lastly, on target, so if you're doing replication, each appliance can have its own retention policy. So we've seen customers put a small appliance at one site, keep just the last 30 days, min-max, and then do long-term retention on the remote site with a larger appliance. Totally viable. It can even be used in conjunction with a virtual appliance and the physical appliance. I see some people putting in questions. That's a great idea. I should have mentioned that. Everyone's on mute, as you may have noticed. So feel free to enter questions into the chat or the QA functionality. I'm going to throw in both. So I've got one question. Does this pertain to client backups or incremental forever backups? I don't know if that was this one. So for Windows image level backup, those are incremental forever and can be done on desktop machines, if that's what you're asking. Yeah, on the last slide. Yep. Okay, so those Windows, it's a great question. So the Windows block level backup pertain to client and incremental forever. Great question. I also got a question from Michael Hardy. I'm sorry, I should ask that full name. Michael's asking, can this be changed on the cloud-hosted appliances? If you're doing cloud with Unitrends, the retention is built in. You're going to get the last 7 days, the last 4 weeklies, the last 12 monthlies, and the X number of yearlies you're paying for retention. So if you're looking for more weeklies, unfortunately, the Unitrends cloud is not a way. That being said, if you're using your own cloud, if you're like in Rackspace or something like that, and you're deploying your own appliance, you can absolutely do it in that scenario. But with the Unitrends cloud, the retention is fixed and cannot be adjusted, unfortunately. I gotta see another question. Oh, this is great. For the Windows image level backup, is there a minimum OS version? Yes, 2008 R2, 64-bit required. Great questions. Okay. I will promise to stop at each slide from now on and answer questions pertaining to those. Apologies for not doing that this time. We're all learning together. Okay. I'll move on to the next one. 10.3.6, more recent one. I believe this was in February or March, maybe even April. We introduced CentOS 7 to our new deployments. So on new deployments only today, new appliances and the new virtual appliance are running CentOS 7. It adds in some additional DHCP support. You do need to know that backup copy targets do need a static IP, though, because of the way the OpenVPN and the SSL replication's working, but you can use DHCP to help auto-assign those IP addresses and kind of find it by host name. It also enables Windows replicas on the appliance of UEFI assets. So we were having, you were not able to spin up UEFI machines on the appliance. Now with CentOS 7, that is no longer an issue. And then lastly, if you do end up upgrading or anything like that, do be aware with a disaster recovery. So that's where I'm taking an old appliance and recovering it to, I have like a backup copy, or I have 2 appliances set up and I'm using the replication reverse to kind of import the configuration info. We do notice some issues with CentOS 6 to 7 upgrades. They're not bad, but you just have to make sure your schedule. We've seen some messed up schedules, which could be holdovers from the old interface as well. So just make sure you check all your schedules and jobs, and if you're concerned, go ahead and just delete all the jobs and set them up anew. Awesome. Any questions about CentOS 7? I know one question I would ask if I were in your shoes is, Is it going to be available for current models? Which models are going to support it? And unfortunately this time I don't have an answer to that. We're looking into which ones it makes sense to and what it actually can work on. But as of today, only new Gen 8 appliances that are newly shipped will have it. But there will be some upgrade for current Gen 8 appliances, and we will see about others going forward. Cool. So I got a question from John saying, I have 10.3.8 but CentOS 6. Yes, so not all, it depends on your Unitrends appliance whether or not you can get CentOS 7. So if you have a Gen 8 appliance, that will be available in the future, but only new deployments today have CentOS 7. No worries. John said thank you, and you are most welcome. Also on 10.3.6, we had Windows Server 2019 support. That's both file and the image level backup we talked about earlier. Both of those are available for backing up. One that I'm putting in, there's a long list of things that are not supported just because we've gotten questions about them. It's not too long and hasn't affected too many clients. But Nano servers don't have the VSS in them, so we can't do it. Windows containers, that's a whole other way of backing those up. Shielded VMs, storage spaces direct, and hyperconverged infrastructure deployments specifically within the HCI. You do not support deploying the H on that yet. We will look at to see which of these we will add support for and things like that. And if there's something that's missing, do not hesitate to throw that into the recommendation. We love hearing from you in the appliance itself. Say feature request, something like that. Let us know. We'll get back to you, and that'll make a factor into our decision making. Any questions about Server 2019? Those of you who are chomping at the bit about HyperV 2019, that's the next slide. Awesome. Next slide it is. 10.3.8 is the most current one. We added HyperV 2019 support, which is both we can be deployed in HyperV 2019 and we can do HyperV snapshot protection at the host level. All the features and functionality you're used to today. We do still have our own CBD driver, so that can help with some of the backup and performance. Just remember, HyperV requires installing an agent on the host, but we can manage all of them at the agent list level. It just helps with the facilitation and the driver. We also have OES 2018 support. So the Novell Micro Focus OES 2018 is available for being able to be backed up. So we can install an agent, do the file backups, and everything else that you need to be able to do there. Cool. So that's most of the updates. I skipped, you can see I only really hit a few of them. Unitrends, and those of you who have been with us for a while, notice it seems like we're stuck on 10.3 for a while. We've adjusted our development cycle. We're doing a lot more dash updates, and we're putting features within those dash updates, and then we'll wait for major updates for the dot releases, and very major ones for the point releases, or the number release? I don't know what the major one is. Whatever that 10 is, we'll go to 11 at some point. There's a lot of future stuff coming out. The direct to cloud will be the biggest thing. We'll definitely talk about some of the other things coming out in the future too. But the last thing I wanted to show was access to all these release notes. They're available on the support site, and you can see right here. I've got the latest release notes for Recovery Series, Unitrends Backup. You can see all of them, the defects, and if you want to go back to old versions, you can come right here to the release notes archive. We've got everything from 10.3 to 10.1, and I kind of went through all of them pretty quickly, but that's the major things that we hit. A lot of customer resolved defects with performance, things like that. If you have any questions about those, you can let us know. We're happy to address that. So I don't want to waste too much more time, but if anyone has any more questions, stuff like that, feel free to put it in. Again, we had this at the beginning. We'd love to see you at a Connect IT Local. We have one running September 11th in Denver at the Mile High Stadium. You'll be able to sign up and, I don't know, hang out. We'll be there. A bunch of the other Connect IT products will be there as well, and along with Boston. I'm actually going to be there personally, so come on out September 24th and say hi to me, and you can make fun of how weird I am on presentations or webinars or something like that. But I'd love to meet you, talk about Unitrends, what's been going on, and anything of those sorts. And then also, we do have some Connect IT Globals. I'm going to announce these. Vegas, May 4th to the 7th. That'll be coming up. That'll be our global one for Vegas, and I think we have also, if you're in Europe, we have one November 5th to 7th in Amsterdam at the Grand Hotel. I'm not going to try the word that's there that begins with a K. I would love to see you there too. We will be actually running Unitrends specific training. We developed an 8-hour course. It's a refresh of our certified admin course, and we will be delivering it in person both at, I believe, all 3 of these at the Vegas, Europe, and our Asia Pacific one, October 1st to the 3rd in Sydney. I don't think anyone here is from Sydney because it's way past your bedtime, but maybe some Amsterdam friends. I'll be there November 5th to 7th, and there's a chance that I'll be at that one too, and you can make fun of me then as well. So let's see. I got some more questions coming in. Make sure you address it to all presenters, by the way. I might not see it if you don't make sure to address it to me. Michael asks, are there any known compatibility concerns with 10.3 and PSA integration due to the recent ConnectWise API changes? Our PSA integration stopped working, and curious if it's just us or affecting all Unitrends customers. That's a good question. I'm going to be honest. I don't know that one offhand. I was under the impression it was working, so I don't want to say it's just you, but I do know they had those recent changes. Do reach out to our support team, though. They can help you with that and see what those calls are, and we can probably work that out. But yeah, I would just open up a support ticket if you haven't already, and let's see if we can take a stab at that. But that's a good question. I've not heard that one specifically, but I'll be honest, I have not been asking too much about it. Great question. Oh, Michael says, awesome, thank you. You're very helpful. And Michael, if only the people in my life appreciate me as much as you do. Just kidding. Family support. Let's see. Any other questions we got there? But yes, anything else. Doesn't have to necessarily be about 10.3. Happy to talk about any other things that come up or you're thinking about. I'll hang out for another, I guess we have another 10 minutes technically, but I will hang out for at least 5 more. Tim says, thank you, very good. I'm glad this was helpful. The Windows block agent stuff is really cool. It's a big game changer. The WAN-based backup is something I've been hearing a lot about. That's probably the biggest thing we've seen recently. And being able to utilize that, I think, would be helpful in a lot of scenarios. Do know that if you're going to do DR as a service, make sure to talk to the support team because we cannot do DR as a service recoveries with the block agent at this time. But yes. It is definitely helpful for those of you doing local recoveries and things like that. All right, if no one has anything else, I will go ahead and give everyone those 10 minutes back, but we can all hang out and pretend that we're still listening to a presentation. Oh, wait. Oh, I lied. I have a bunch more. Okay. The scroll did not update. Okay. Stephen asks, I signed up for the SQL webinar. I missed it. Who would I contact to get a copy of that session? It should be available right on the support site. That's a great question. I don't know that offhand. What I would do is call into the main sales line is the best option I can give you and reach out to them. So the Unitrends main sales line, you can ask them about it for the existing customer. Or your account manager. That'd be another person to reach out to and ask, and hopefully they can find that out for you. Sorry, that's a good question. I should know that one since I'm presenting it. Philip asks, we are an MSP working with Unitrends, existing Kaseya VSA customer. Wow, welcome, welcome. The only concern I have is that we have no control over the DRAS. We have to speak to Unitrends support to do recovery testing, et cetera. It would be extremely helpful if we had control. Yes, that's something we've heard about. We are looking into ways to kind of do that. It is by design. We don't want to give people the ability to immediately fail over, fail back, and do the scheduling due to the way we're allocating resources. That being said, we do use it kind of as an advantage because it means you're not having to worry about the infrastructure and all those pieces. If you're looking for that kind of control, we have no problem with you trying to take on your own. Like, you can build out your own cloud. We love customers that do that. We're happy to help and support you and find ways to be able to build that. But the objective with it is trying to make it easier. The testing, I do know, can be a little frustrating. It's where the recovery assurance can definitely benefit. But totally hear you on that. But that being said, we are working on a cloud portal that will help at least with access to that information and some capabilities. I don't know the extent of that yet, but hopefully that is something that will at least help with that. So John says, is replica to another physical server a good option for a small business? I would, I guess it depends on replica. Like if I'm trying to replicate offsite, we always recommend getting your data offsite some way. Some customers do it with 2 appliances replicating to each other. Some customers will do it just by copying backups to hard drives. There's totally a bunch of options that we're able to do. That's a great question. Trip is asking, do another one of these with a focus on the WAN backups. I hear you on that. We're looking to doing that up. Fortunately, setting it up is easy. You just need to be able to route. You set it up, and it just goes over the connection, and the data is secure in transit. Basically, today, just go by the guidelines that don't put more than 1 terabyte on, don't back up more than 1 terabyte within that server. So if it's a small server, test it out. The only downside you're going to have is yeah, with the desktops and laptops, that technology is going to be coming out later for local use. Right now, the desktop and laptop technology is going to be just for the direct cloud. Oh, I see, John. That was a multiple question. I see. Is replica to another physical server a good option for a small business looking at faster uptime? Yes, very much so. Having 2 Unitrends appliances replicating the physical server to the second site, and then on that Unitrends appliance, you can even do spin up on it. Talk to your account manager, see if there's ways you can do that to increase your uptime. Love to schedule a call and see if there's a way that we can kind of find a solution that will work better for your small business. And Philip is following up. Fair enough. What about centralized reporting? We have several appliances, and it would be nice to monitor them from one place and not so concerned about actually controlling them centrally. We do have some solutions for that. I would talk to your rep about that. There are some ways that we have that I think would be exactly what you're looking for that I can't quite talk about here, but I think there's some solutions down the pipe that we might be able to give you access to, Philip. So reach out to, I'm not sure exactly whose yours is, basically here. Reach out to whoever sold stuff to you. If they don't get back to you, anyone here is welcome to email me, jwarsoff@unitrends.com. I'll show you my contact info again at the beginning. If you're like, Jordan, you said it, I was able to do this, or someone said they're going to do this, happy to email me, and I will get you in touch with the right person. Awesome. And I'm sorry about the recordings. I know they are somewhere. I just cannot find them I just don't know where they are offhand. Okay. So it looks like now I've gone through all the questions. These have been awesome. Cool. All right, then I will let everyone go. Thank you so much for your time and interest in Unitrends. I'll hang out for the next 5 minutes and answer some questions in Q&A and chat. But other than that, I hope you have an amazing, what day is today? Thursday. Have a great Thursday. May your power hours be full of power and only take a half hour. All right, so long. Thanks for all the fish. Take care.